Hello and welcome. My name is Métis, they, she, he, and this is Literally Graphic. And today we are looking at volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4 of A Girl Called Echo by Katherena Vermette, Scotty Henderson, and Donovan Ickwik. Published by Highwater Press, each volume takes our main character Echo to different times in Métis history, namely the Pemmican Wars, the Red River Resistance, the Northwest Resistance, and the Road Allowance era. Content notes for foster care, colonization, and violent anti-Métis racism. According to her website, writer, quote, Katherena Vermette, she, her, hers, is a Red River Métis Michif writer from Treaty 1 territory, the heart of the Métis Nation. She has worked in poetry, novels, children's literature, and film. Born in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, her father's roots run deep in St. Boniface, St. Norbert, and beyond. Her mother's side is Mennonite from the Altona and Rosenfeld area. Treaty 1. Vermette received the Governor General's Literary Award for Poetry for her first book, North End Love Songs. The Break won several awards, including the Amazon.ca First Novel Award, and was a bestseller in Canada. Her National Film Board documentary, This River, won the Canadian Screen Award for Best Short. She holds a Master's of Fine Art from the University of British Columbia. End quote. Like with many of David A. Robertson's graphic novels, Scott B. Henderson illustrated. The influence of that series on this is pretty front and center. Echo actually finds 7 generations in her local library, one among many other Easter eggs. Wrapping up this trio, according to his website, quote, color artist Donovan Ickwik has worked as a colorist for such companies as Marvel, DC, Chapter House Publishing, and Dark Horse Comics, honing his crafts as part of the legendary Digital Chameleon Coloring Studio. Donovan holds a Bachelor of Fine Arts honors from the University of Manitoba. He lives in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, with his wife and daughters. End quote. He also colored the book Firestarters by Jen Sturm that I reviewed last year. Link in the cards. While I've been watching the series for some time, each installment is on the shorter side, so I wanted to wait until the series wrapped up to talk about them. According to the publisher, it is classified as young adult, but in the 12 to 14-year-old side of young adult. Dipping your toe into the series, as it were, Volume 1's official description is, quote, Echo Desjardins, a 13-year-old Métis girl adjusting to a new home in school, is struggling with loneliness while separated from her mother. Then an ordinary day in Mr. B's history class turns extraordinary, and Echo's life will never be the same. During Mr. B's lecture, Echo finds herself transported to another time and place, a bison hunt on the Saskatchewan prairies, and back again to the present. In the following weeks, Echo slips back and forth in time. She visits a Métis camp, travels the old fur trade routes, and experiences the perilous and bygone era of the Pemmican Wars. End quote. What keywords came to mind reading through this series? Time travel, anti-colonialist struggle, ancestors, Métis, identity, racism, land, family, and war. Looking at all the technical parts of the series, I thought that everything went very smoothly. A lot of action is communicated visually, and it never felt like I was being info dumped on. The color scheme was also one of my favorites, and the character change and development moved along nicely from volume to volume. As far as gender and sexuality goes in the series, the story does feel rather expansive in some key ways. A bit binary in some ways, the diversity of gender expression across characters, central and tertiary, is very nice. Plus, happening in a school, there are many queer positive icons and posters sprinkled across the background. We need more telling about history that gives more credit to the not-so-called great men. Race is obviously fairly central to the series. There's still a lot of misunderstanding in the general colonizer populace of so-called Canada about what it means to be Métis. I'm an outsider, but I hope that having a series like this can go a long way to creating a populace that is much less ignorant, not that that solves racism. But knowledge does seem to push a person that much closer to all sorts of more radical things. Class, while a bit less central, is touched on in a genuine way. What do you know? The working class is a diverse intersection of identities and not just a white monolith of any kind. As far as ability versus disability, there is a background character who is a wheelchair user. Overall, I ended up rating this entire series 4 out of 5 stars. Important and accessible. I am over twice as old as the target audience, and that did impact my total enjoyment of the series. Bye y'all, keep reading and resist white supremacy. And as always, Literally Graphic is created on land that should be given back to the traditional landholders. which in this case is, to my knowledge, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, non-Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation.